right. Welcome back, foodies, to a second part of the New York State episode of the BDSM podcast. I am one of your hosts, the Meat Viking, with my wonderful co-host.
Professor Porkloin.
And we did some like behind the scenes discussion already, and we already got ourselves a safe word ready, which is going to be Empire today.
Which
So,
is fitting because, I mean, we're talking about the Empire State. So
yeah,
you can't go wrong with that.
no, we cannot. So, there's one thing I wanted to get off the way, and that is the black and white cookie. Now, as somebody who's been to New York, have you ever had this? Because it looks delicious.
Oh, yeah, man. You freaking, they're all over the place.
Yeah. So essentially, it looks like it's a shortbread cookie, but
Yeah.
it's half coated in fudge and then chocolate fudge, and then the other half is coated in vanilla fudge. And so
Yeah,
you
they're
get these
definitely.
nice pattern on this cookie that looks super delicious. So, and the place that it recommends getting these is you can get them from William Greensburg's Dessert on the Upper East Side, or you can get it at the Black and White Kosher Bakery in Brooklyn. Is where it recommends to try these at.
See, I've only been to Brooklyn a handful of times, so I couldn't tell you if that's better than the East Side.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, man, those cookies are they're rich because of the chocolate, you know.
Yeah.
But if there's something that you would definitely want to have, is to grab one of those. Um, Kind of going on along this line, New York obviously is filled with a bunch of different, different types of food. You got Chinese food in Chinatown. There's Little Italy down there. Just there's some nice Indian places. You got some delis, but I have to say, going to Little Italy, um, if you're looking at desserts, there's a place right at the end of it. I can't remember the name of it. I probably have to look. It might take me a lot longer, but it's a bakery, and it has probably one of the best cannolis that you can buy.
Ooh,
So, have you ever had cannolis before?
I have. They're delicious.
So, they make the normal ones, but they also do a chocolate um, cannoli. So, they do it two different ways. One is they can dip the chocolate in or the cannoli into like a chocolate fudge,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll just do a chocolate casing.
Ooh.
Both are fucking delicious, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the cannolis in that deli, and they have tons of other things too, you know. But I think that if you ever get a chance, listeners, to go to New York City, go down to Little Italy. You will not be disappointed. For one, because there's plenty of other foods.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want authentic or at least somewhat authentic Italian food, there's plenty. It's like you walk down the street and there's just restaurants left and right. You got to be wary about those dudes standing out front. Be like, oh, come into my restaurant. Come on, blah, blah, blah. And they try to get you in.
Right.
Um, but, oh, dude, talk about other foods there. I mean, Alfredo, you're going to get, um, you know, gorgeous shrimp. You're going to have some nice chicken marsala. You can have some nice chicken parm, veal parmesan. And that is like one of the coolest things to go down.
That does sound delicious. I would do some disrespectful things for a good veal parmesan, I think. So that just sounds tasty. So another thing I'm
Yeah.
seeing in New York is something that I'm not too familiar with. Designer ice creams.
Yeah, they're starting to roll some of those out now.
Yeah. So
Now,
like a couple that caught my eye, there is a smoked chili and huckleberry, and then a grapefruit jalapeno sherbet.
yeah, I'd probably go with the first one over that second one.
Right.
I usually don't want to have spice with my dessert, you know?
Well, I mean, like, and that's the thing, because like you got the huckleberry though, so I'm curious to how that that pops out in that because huckleberries can be extremely bitter, but also really sweet depending on how you make it into your dessert. So I'd be willing to try something like that. And then I like grapefruit anyway, so if you're gonna throw like a grapefruit jalapeno, I'd be willing to try that because I also like another sweet mixture that's more popular, and that's mango and habanero.
Yeah, I've done a mead before that had a mango serrano,
Okay.
and I mean it was pretty good. Like I was okay with that because the serrano wasn't stupid hot, but you got
Mm-hmm.
the taste on the back end of it. So I'm assuming your ice cream is probably going to be like that. You're going to get the sweet up front, probably get
Right.
that mango or the grapefruit, and then or the tartness of the grapefruit, and then get that chili on the back end.
Yeah. So to get out of New York for 1 second and kind of keep in that topic, there's a coffee shop I go to, and I haven't tried this yet. Mainly because the whole stigma around one of the ingredients they put in there. They actually put ghost pepper chilies in one of their coffees.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
depending on how much coffee it's brewed with,
Yeah.
it could dilute it. I'm sure it'd still be a little spicy though.
They say it's one of their best selling ones, and I've seen too many YouTube videos of people like eating ghost pepper chips and like almost needing a hospital ride. So I just like, you know what? We're not gonna mess with that.
Oh my god, I think the worst one that I saw was some dude freaking put a reaper pepper
Mm-hmm.
in a bong and then ripped it.
Oh
Like
God.
I thought that was probably the dumbest thing that this person could have done. You should have seen him. He was coughing, and I mean, at that point, that's like hospital ride.
Oh yeah, for real. Although we live in America, so instead of calling the ambulance, you just call up an Uber and have them get
Yeah,
you there. Save
yeah,
yourself like 5 grand.
yeah, exactly.
So, but the two places that recommend trying this designer fusion ice creams at are Oddfellows Ice Cream in Williamsburg, and also I guess in East Village, and down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass at a place called Dumbo, which is just an acronym for down under the Manhattan Bridge.
And what's funny? If you've never been to New York, you wouldn't know this, but it kind of sounds like you're getting it from some troll, right? Down underneath the bridge, like,
Right,
hey, give me some of that ice cream.
right.
What is your favorite color?
Yeah. What is my favorite color?
Blue. But I've noticed they've started doing a lot of other designer stuff too. You can get squid ink ice cream now, so it literally or charcoal squid ink. I mean, I think squid ink probably, but it literally looks like black ice cream.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that before. And I know they have some of the stuff in New York. I couldn't tell you where, but they've opened up some of those shops. And then the other thing that's kind of along that designer ice cream thing, and I know there's one in New York. It's the cookie dough. I don't
Okay.
know about you, but I would go ham for some cookie dough.
Yeah.
And so what it is they essentially um, it's an eggless cookie dough, so you don't have to worry about salmonella. And I think they use something else other than flour too. But man, they do. It's like a scoop. Like you can get two scoops of cookie dough, and then they have stuff that have like sprinkles and a whole bunch of other stuff, and that's it. That's your dessert.
Hmm.
So I know for myself, if I ever get a chance to go to one of those places, I am gonna have some freaking cookie dough
Yeah.
and have some like chocolate chip, have some like brownie cookie dough, and just feel like a fat ass.
Oh yeah. So I think the thing that we can wrap up this whole smorgasbord with before we move on
Yeah.
to other topics is something that I'm a huge fan of, and that's food trucks.
Oh yeah, there's tons of food trucks going up and down.
Yeah. And so like I know I spent entirely too much lunch money when I worked in Texas at food trucks because we would have them come through on our lunch break, and they were always just Like, I would go to a sit down place to get that kind of food.
On the same line though, too, and not even a food truck, but you usually get the food carts too.
Yeah, see.
So
Well,
like,
when I think of a New York food cart, though, the only thing I think of is what is known as a water dog, and
yeah, the
that's
hot dog stands.
yeah, the hot dogs at like 2 o'clock in the morning when you're leaving the bar.
2 o'clock? You mean 4 o'clock in the morning?
Hey, dude, like I'm 30 now, I can't do 4 o'clock anymore.
Yeah, but New York City though, their bars close at 4.
Oh Jesus.
I remember even when I was younger, man, 21, going out with my buddy, and everyone's used to 2 o'clock in Pennsylvania, and you party hard. You're like 2 o'clock. You're like, all right, I'm hammered, whatever. And then they're like, now we're going to the next bar. You're going, how the fuck am I going to survive these next couple hours?
Yeah, that reminds
And
me
then,
of our infamous Four Loco night that we did. And for those who don't know, you used to be my actual neighbor.
oh yeah,
And we did a Four Loco night, and you're like, hey man, it's time to go home. And I was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get there.
you just walk across the lawn, man. You'll
Yeah,
you'll you'll be fine.
yeah,
That was before they changed the formula.
yeah. So those were the OG Four Loco.
But I mean, for $5 and you can get bombed. That's not a bad deal.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's very
But when
true.
when I think of food carts, though, yeah, I think of the hot dog stands, but I
Mm-hmm.
also think of they usually have like falafel or some type of chicken or like Egyptian food, something like that, where you have rice and lettuce and whatnot. So
Nice.
and it's really cool because if you're walking down the street, obviously it's later on, you're hammered, you get that smell just wafting in the air, and you're like, oh, I could totally grab some of this stuff right now and get some shawarma, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Now, how would they do a
Um,
gyro that way? Because every place I've seen do a gyro, they've got that meat cooking right there, just spinning, being like
and
slow cooked.
I think they have that still going.
Oh wow.
Uh, Either that or they put it on a flat top, one of the two. Like they've cooked it pre, and
Mm-hmm.
then all they do is just chop some of it off and throw it on the flat top and get it all warm.
Yeah, that does
But
sound
there's definitely
delicious.
some good halal and shawarma and whatnot going through the cities alongside those food trucks.
Mm-hmm. You
But
know,
I usually don't see the food trucks out late at night. You usually see them out during lunch or afternoon stuff.
right. I don't think I've ever seen like a Korean style food truck. Have you?
Not not Korean. I've seen like a Korean influenced one before where they had some Korean food, but it was like an American style Korean food.
Gotcha.
Like they had bento boxes and whatnot, and they had bibimbap, but um, it wasn't like, oh, you can get kimchi and stuff from it.
Right. Although I think it would be a little hard, because I think when I think of like Korean food, I think of like big kitchen and like a giant wok that's been passed down from family to family. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that. But when I think of Korean food, I think of Korean barbecue,
Oh, that's fair.
which I'm sure you've had that before, right?
I have.
Yeah, man. And I'm pretty sure there's got to be some Korean barbecue in New York as well, but that is probably the coolest thing to do because then they just bring out the meat and you just get to cook it yourself.
Yup. Yup.
I've been to a Korean barbecue joint where the uh, the, the oven in the middle, or the whatever the hell you want to call it in the middle, the grill,
Mm-hmm.
was one of those propane portable ones.
Okay.
I'm like, man, this place is gonna go up in flames
Oh
because
yeah.
there's shit everywhere,
Yep.
and that grease is going everywhere,
Yep.
and I don't know if this is gonna be lasting very long. So it was still good, but I like the original ones where you sit in there and it's kind of like the hibachi, but you are cooking the shit.
Yep.
And I've been to places where it's like an all you can eat, which is even better because then you just keep on bringing it out.
Yep.
So I know they've got that, and that kind of goes along with the other one too of the U.S. with the Chinatown. Um, you'll find some good Chinese food, but it's not going to be your American Chinese food like the General Tso. It's the ones that have the ducks hanging in the window, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to a couple places. Actually, I was dating a girl whose friend owned a Chinese place, and it was close to 40, maybe 43rd Street and Broadway. So, because what we would always do is let them know and say, "Hey, we're coming in to see a show. You know, can we get a reservation?" And he'd always be like, "Oh yeah, no problem." So we'd come in, we'd have dinner, and then go watch a show. And
Oh.
that was always pretty cool because it was like legit Chinese food. The ducks hanging in the window, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna have some duck today, or I'm gonna have some of this."
Mm-hmm. Duck's a weird thing too, man, because like you can't cook it like you do normal chicken. You want your duck to be like medium rare.
Yeah, they usually have some cool sauces to put on it too.
Yeah.
It's almost like lamb. I don't know if you've ever had lamb before. They usually have that freaking jelly that goes with it.
Yeah, that mint sauce.
Yeah,
Yep. I do enjoy
but
me some lamb. It's very hard to get where I'm at though.
yeah.
Like I can't,
Now,
even though I've got a really good meat market, I can't just go in there and buy a leg of lamb.
yeah, that's got to be hard to come across where you're at.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's a special order thing.
It might be, but then again, the place that I go to is also like heavily Polish influence, so it's mostly like pork and sausage and beef based.
Yeah, well, you can get what you can get, right?
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the place I get my groceries from. They kept me fat and happy for a long time.
Um, so I've gone out a couple times in New York City, and I have to say this to my listeners, and I don't know if this bar is still open, but it's down by the Village, and it's called the Continental, and it's a cash bar. Now the cool thing about this bar is it's any five shots for $20, I think.
Okay.
So I mean, you're basically getting five shots of decent liquor. You know, you're not getting high end stuff, but like Jack Daniels and your mid stuff. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's. I thought it was any five shots for $20. It might have been 15 or 10 by that time, but it might have gone up.
Well, you know, inflation.
But you want to talk about having a good old time before the bars really start kicking off. Man, I went there one time at like 6 o'clock in early evening. I was wrecked by 7:30. And the cool thing right about it is there's a hibachi place that's right around the corner, and then you start doing sake bombs, and it just
Oh
makes it
God.
way worse.
Yeah.
But the story with that one is that my buddy at the time just got ripped and then decided to do sake afterwards and got even more ripped. And we tried getting back into that Continental bar, and by that time there was a line and everything. We get up there, and the bouncer was like, "Man, I can let you in, but I can't let your buddy in. He's way too drunk."
Yeah.
It's like, fucking sober up, man. We got to go in somewhere.
Yep. I think that that segues really good into our next food to help sober up, and that would be the bagels.
That's yeah. I think that would be something in the morning though.
Well, like the
Like,
thing about bagels is like they can cure your hangover, or if you're drunk, just get yourself a bagel sandwich and let that bagel bread soak up that alcohol for you.
well, I feel like if you're really drunk though, and we mentioned this in the last episode though, I was talking about the pizza.
That
Just
too.
get a couple slices of those dollar pizza, and you'll be good to go for the next rally.
Yep.
But I do like bagels though. So how would you take your bagel? Like, say you go into this deli into New York, and you're like, man, I really want a bagel right now. How would you go for it?
So I prefer bagel style sandwiches if I'm doing like a meal style bagel. And I would usually do like an everything bagel bun, do some egg, throw some bacon on that with some cheese, and maybe like a fried tomato. But if I'm doing like a breakfast bagel, I want like a sweet bagel, almost like a cinnamon style bagel. You know what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about?
Oh yeah. I used to get cinnamon raisin bagel with sausage, egg, and cheese.
Yep. So there's a place, and I don't know if it's an Ohio exclusive place or not. Um, I'll do more research on that when we get to our Ohio episode, but they do a cinnamon vanilla swirl bagel. And I kid you not, man, it almost tastes like French toast. It's so good.
Now they have places that do French toast bagels though.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't know
So
if this place is exclusive to Ohio where I get those bagels from.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I know for myself, I can go a couple different ways. Like I could do the cinnamon sugar or the cinnamon raisin with like peanut butter and jelly, or
Yep.
that sausage, egg, and cheese. Or I could do an everything bagel with like lox or like a salmon fillet or something like that. And
Yep.
then, maybe get some smear, maybe some smear with like some jelly.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know what that is, smear is basically like cream cheese.
Yep.
So, but I could totally go for a bagel. And the cool thing is that they're super fresh. Like these places have been doing it for 100 years, and you got that old guy that comes in at like 3 o'clock in the morning to start making all the fucking bagels.
Yep.
There's just a line out the door.
Yeah.
So, but another thing that kind of goes along with that too, and you're looking at delis. They have a bunch of delis that you can get sandwiches with, and one of the biggest one is obviously a pastrami sandwich. So I know obviously the biggest one. Um, you're looking at was it Cats? I think it's Cats Delicatessen. That's one of the big delis that you can get a pastrami in, and I know a nice pastrami on rye is probably the best one that you can pick out.
Oh yeah. It's hard to beat a pastrami on rye. And like that's coming from somebody who's not even a mustard fan. And very rarely are you going to get a pastrami that doesn't have a bunch of mustard on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll usually give you some pickles on the side,
Yep.
and it's like that. The pastrami. Did you ever see that video? They have that pastrami out there, and the guy's got the knife, and then he pretends to cut it, but then drops the knife and just uses his hands to take it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think of when I'm thinking of how easily that pastrami can just be cut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always cool to see how they package that bad boy up. Usually you'll get it in like a foil or wax paper.
Yeah.
So there's tons of delis out there too, and that's the cool thing about it is that you can find one just about on you know any block.
So you were talking about Chinatown earlier, and I found something called the soup dumplings. You ever have those while you're in New York?
I mean, maybe not in Chinatown, but I've had dumplings from New York before.
So these are filled with a soup instead of like packaged with meat and stuff,
Yeah,
and they serve them poked through with a straw so you can drink the soup out if the soup's too hot, or you can just pop the whole thing in your mouth. And I
that
thought
sounds
that was
super
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a way to burn your mouth super fast.
Well, I don't know.
Let them cool down a little bit before you decide to pop it in your mouth and just soak it all the way up, right?
I mean that's why that straw's there, though. You know.
Do you have a picture of something like that? Like what kind of straws do they put in it?
Dude, I'll screen share it right now. It's just a regular plastic straw.
That's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah,
I can get
apparently they
behind
use
that.
a special spoon to make the dumpling shape, and then they poke the hole in top and serve it with a straw like that. So I
Hmm.
just thought that'd be something cool because it's never something I've seen done with a dumpling before. So
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've
mhm.
never seen that before, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be a pretty good seller.
Oh yeah, especially because New York's prone to the coldness, just like you and I are. Well, we're
I'm still okay with the coldness. Whenever I go back up north, I always refill my cold meter
yeah,
and then bring it back down to Texas and go, this shit ain't fucking cold. But then
right.
I sweat my dick off when it's like 110 degrees outside and going, yeah, I'm staying inside. F you guys.
Yep. So
um, oh, so I know there's one other one too. It's a dessert though, and it obviously has its own name after it. The
okay.
New York style cheesecake.
Yep.
So man, I love cheesecakes. I remember when I was 16, girl I was dating, her dad made homemade cheesecakes, and I asked for a chocolate cheesecake, and he pulled through with that bad boy, and it tasted so good. And they can do a lot of different other ones. I mean, chocolate swirl, they've got strawberry swirl. You can even just get a plain cheesecake and have like the strawberries on top, and have
Mm-hmm.
a strawberry sauce or like blueberries, and have that put on top.
Yep.
And uh, it's one of those ones where you can just totally grab a cheesecake and be content with having all that.
I think my favorite cheesecake is probably the turtle cheesecake, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's got the caramel in it, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got some good food. This is making me want to go grab some of this stuff now. Like, see
Right.
if I can find a cheesecake place or see if I can find,
Well,
you
like
know,
the thing about cheesecake, even if it's made like you can get good cheesecake at Kroger, you know, in that like
yeah, you can get a
multi
decent
cheesecake
one.
thing.
Yeah.
So even if it's like bottom tier cheesecake, it's still good cheesecake. You know what I'm saying?
What's the saying? Something like and this can go for a lot of different things, but it's like a warm beer is better than no beer,
Yep.
or
Yep.
like bad sex is still better than no sex.
Yep. Yep.
So, but I know that there's definitely a lot of Michelin star um, places in New York, either Brooklyn or Queens or even just Manhattan. And because you just have such a diverse amount of people coming through that a day, what is
Mm-hmm.
it like? There's like 33 million or some dumb shit like that that comes through with tourism. And between all the shows and the tourist attractions of like Empire State Building and Statue of Liberty and whatnot, it's just you can find just about anything in New York.
Yep.
So
Some of
what
the
was
things
what was
that
the last time that you went there?
I haven't been to New York since I was before adult age.
So did you do like just
So
Times Square?
no, we were actually passing through to go to a vacation in Maine, and we actually
Okay.
stopped at the Cheesecake Factory in New York.
That
So,
Cheesecake Factory.
yep.
You got suckered into it.
Well, man, now hear me out, okay? When you live in an area that in like the five towns that make up the country, county, total like 16,000 people, like Cheesecake Factory is not something you see every day, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So, one thing I did see though is food mashups. And one of the most common ones is where they take a croissant and they make a donut out of it.
Oh yeah. So what is it? A cronut, right? Is that what it's
Cronut.
called?
Yep. So, and then another popular one is they make a sushi burrito, but they instead of like a tortilla, it's wrapped in a pretzel. So,
With a
or a croissant
sushi?
that's shaped in it's a croissant that's in the shape of a pretzel, but they make it into a burrito.
With sushi?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a sushi burrito before where they just make it, the rice is on the outside. It just literally looks like one big ass freaking sushi roll,
Right.
you know. But I've never seen it with a croissant or a pretzel as a
Y-
bagel. Like
You know
that's
what? I,
weird.
I I'm reading this wrong. That's my bad. Um, it says many others are like sushi burrito and pretzel. So they're two different things. I thought it was a sushi burrito pretzel.
Oh, I was gonna say like that's going really wild with some combinations there.
Right.
I definitely seen the burrito, but I've never seen the pretzel.
Right. So,
But yeah, they definitely get some pretty good stuff. I don't think I've had a cronut before, but I would give it a shot. I mean, I love donuts to begin with, so I would think that it's a little bit more flakier because of the croissant
hmm
than it is with the. So it's got to be a yeast donut.
yeah.
So I don't think that would be a cake one,
Nah, it'd be yeast based for sure. Which
but I
you,
guess you can probably fill it with a bunch of things, right? You could probably fill it with like mascarpone or Boston cream or something like that, right?
hmm moving
But
on though, this is something I've actually had before and never known the name of it, but a Waldorf salad.
what's in that one? Because I
A-
mean, I'm assuming it's after the W.
So it's apples, walnuts, and mayonnaise.
That's some white people shit right there.
Yeah. So now you can also add things like celery, lettuce, and grapes to it too to make like an apple salad dessert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but with mayonnaise,
Apparently, it's in the recipe, man.
just again, that sounds like white people food.
I think it's more of like a Caesar salad in texture, you know.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
So, but I've definitely had like apple and walnut salad before, and it's been really good.
See, yeah, that's okay though. But did you
Yeah,
have mayonnaise with it?
probably.
Man, it has like the distinct flavor. I mean, I guess you can get kind of that savory with the sweet
Yeah,
or the tart from the apples, but I don't throw in some grapes and it just doesn't sound good.
yeah, understandable. Different strokes for
I
different
mean,
folks.
yeah, I mean, I'd give it a shot, but if I saw that on the menu, it would be more of like, I'm not going to get that. But if someone had it and said, here, try this, I'd be like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a shot.
hmm So I think we'd be untrue to our name if we didn't mention the fact that New York, especially during the Prohibition era, became rather famous for its speakeasies.
Okay.
So, and I actually got a list of speakeasy bars here, and of course, the first most obvious name is Please Don't Tell. Then you've also got the Angel Share, and then the Roni Room, and all of these are located in East Village. And it just recommends checking them out if you're in New York. So,
I wonder how it presents itself, because I've seen some videos online of those speakeasies, and I've been to a few in like Vegas, but I would think that it'd look like a fucking laundromat, and then you'd push a button or something, and one of the washers opens up, and then there's your bar, right?
so when we were in Chicago, my buddy kept telling me about this place, but we weren't able to go because we were with such a like large group of people with various different interests. But there's this place, and I believe it's called it's either two dots in a dash or three dots in a dash, right?
Okay.
And this is in downtown Chicago, and you go in this back alley, and then when you go into the thing, they've got like palm trees and heaters in there to make it look like you went from Chicago to Hawaii. And their whole menu is like very Hawaiian Honolulu based influence on their food. And they have like special rum punches and hurricanes and drinks like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I wonder what some of those New York ones though look like. How
yeah,
again, like I can think a laundromat or uh maybe like a barber shop or something.
yeah. Well, like that's the thing is you're gonna have to look up like people actually going into these bars because the only um videos we're able to pull up right now would be like videos of them serving drinks in there, and we don't
Yeah.
want to get copyright claimed off of somebody else's video showing you how to get in there and find these speakeasies. So
Well, the one that I went to in Vegas, I remember it was a bar. It was a speakeasy within a bar. So that was super cool. But
yeah.
essentially, the way to get in is that you made your reservation because they only took reservations. And then, like, you talk to the bar, you talk to the bouncer and give them a password. And then they let you in and they say, stand by this wall and we'll send you a text message when we're ready. So you get to hang out and they'll, however long you get there beforehand, you can usually have a drink. But
Mhm.
then what happens is they send you a text message and dude, we were standing by this wall and this life-size painting, a tall-size painting just opens up from the wall and you're like, okay, are you so and so? Come on in.
Wow.
And it was pretty crazy because then they close it and then you're standing in a hallway and then they open up another door and here's your speakeasy.
So that's dope.
So
I
that was
was
super cool.
I was able to find out a little bit about the Please Don't Tell speakeasy, and it's actually hidden in a hot dog restaurant, which looks like a phone booth. And then it looks like it opens up, and then you get into the speakeasy that way.
Yeah, see,
So,
fucking phone booth.
right,
It just shows you, man, that those people they'll find a way and make it look like it's normal business hours.
right. So,
But imagine being around that time in New York and it's prohibition. And you're like, hey, baby, I got this good place that we should go to.
right.
And shit like that. Like you see you walk through a barber or
Yeah.
like something like that and go, don't worry, honey, we got you.
Yeah, buddy. So, now I don't know about you, but that's actually all I had for today's episode.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. We talked about a lot of stuff that's just basically central to the city.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm sure that there's plenty of other things too. Again, with all the different variety of foods. I mean, it's so hard to not narrow down everything when it's talking about that. But I think the biggest stuff of the cheesecake, the bagels, the delis, and Chinatown, all of that kind of will play into the factor of New York City. So, but yeah, man, I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, then, foodies, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. It's been a bit shorter than normal, but that's what happens sometimes when we do these multi-part episodes. So, I believe you can take us on out.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us, foodies. And if you have any comments, how do you take your bagel? Or, if you've been to New York, let us know in the comments. But I am Professor Porkline. I'm here with my awesome co host,
The Meat Viking.
and we are signing off for New York Part 2.
Yeah, buddy.